going on, guys? Kevin here to bring you a brand new video where today we're going to be doing day 20 of Horror October. The film that we have decided to watch for this edition of Horror October is The Girl Next Door, and this is a movie that is from 2007. There's actually another movie called The Girl Next Door that's a romantic comedy with Emile Hirsch, Timothy Olyphant, Olivia Wilde. Not that movie. This is The Girl Next Door, a horror movie. No real notable actors. It does have William Atherton, but only for like some of it. Not for like a lot of it. Like the beginning and the end, he's in it. Yeah, this is a horror movie that's based on a book called The Girl Next Door. And it's also based on a true story of a murder that occurs. And this one is, again, a different horror movie for us to be seeing from anything else we've seen. I just keep seeing these like different sorts of horror movies throughout this entire month. So this one kind of plays a little bit like a Stephen King feel, where it's like a group of like kids together, like having their own struggles and like going through their own stuff. So it kind of felt like that a little bit, but it was more like messed up than like a Stephen King movie, I'd say, in the sense of like what was going on. So The Girl Next Door is about this kid named David, also known as Davy, who has like this friend who's a girl, and this is set in the 50s. Just note that, you know, times were different back then, but still, even for this time, what happens here is pretty fucked up. But David was friends with this girl, and she kind of like was like showing feelings for him a little bit, and like she made him like a painting that was like really nice, and like this girl Meg, who Davy kind of liked, was living with an abusive caregiver. I don't think the mother, Ruth, was actually Meg's mother. I think she was just like her caregiver. I think that makes the most sense. But as a result of Meg liking David, they decide that it would be best to like punish her for it, and like they initially like punish like her sister Susan for it too, by like spanking her, which is like already pretty messed up, but it gets more messed up than that. Like they eventually tie up Meg and in the basement and like torture her. They bound her by ropes. They like strip her. They like burn her. At one point, she gets raped by one of the kids of Ruth. And then the most fucked up thing is she gets like the spot, like where her privates are, burned off, so that she can't have like pleasure, because they thought that like she's such a whore, like she shouldn't like have any other guy, or she shouldn't be able to have the pleasure. And initially they had just like burned something on her stomach that said like "fuck me, I like fuck" or something like that. I forget what exactly it said, but it was basically like they were trying to make it so no man would ever want her because she's a whore. Really fucked up. And like the mother is like a total like bitch in this movie. Does give a good performance, but like holy fuck, dude. But like Jesus, like she's just like absolutely insane in this movie with how she acts and like how insanely mean she is to like this whole family in general, especially Meg, of course. And then like the kids get on it too. Like one of the kids has sex with her, and then like another one does, and they all like beat her, slap her. Like, this movie is pretty fucked. Like, I I was like thinking, yeah, like this seems like a, you know, like a coming of age movie, or some like dating movie that has a little bit of like, horror in it. But like no, it becomes so messed up. Like, and like for a while, like it wasn't playing like that, and it felt like it wouldn't be like that scary of a horror movie, or even feel like a horror movie for that matter. But it truly does, with like what this mother does to Meg and what these kids do. And it's so messed, man. And like, like at the beginning, like William Atherton is like reflecting on his experience with this. William Atherton is like a grown up David, like reflecting on his experience from like years ago. And David was like the one, he was like always there, like witnessing it all, but he didn't want any of this to happen to Meg, but he just had to like sit there and like watch it all happen for a while, until finally he, you know, gets everybody in trouble. But he was like totally traumatized because this was like the girl that he liked, and he just, for a while, like he's just a kid, like what was he gonna do? Like he was just sitting there watching, until finally he does like set up a plan to like get everybody in trouble and get like justice for Meg. But the shittiest thing is that Meg dies at the end, which is just really sad, because like, David really liked this girl and he wanted to like help her, and he tried, but it just wasn't quite enough. And that is how the story goes, is that after being tortured, Meg does die as a result. And so with that, you could see why, you could kind of see where he's coming from, William Atherton, where he's like talking about like what this meant to him like 30 years down the line. And I would say like one like tiny flaw with it, like that's actually like a flaw that I see, is that like at the beginning, like the narration from like William Atherton is like a little like like what is he really talking about here? Like what is he getting at? And I'm just like I'm not really sure about this. But once he actually like says like, oh, let me tell you the story of this, and then it flashbacks to like these kids, then you're like, oh, okay, I see what he's getting at. And like there was like an interesting like point where he like made like a comparison where like he's walking in the street, and this guy gets hit by a car who's like right next to him, and he's like, man, I wish that could have been me, because he hated like his life so much, like because of that experience that he had in the past, that like he wish he wish he got hit by a car. And then he talks about like a girl getting like attacked by two cats, and he's like, I feel like that would be better than the experience I had back then, like, which is totally understandable why he would say that. But yeah, as far as like what I thought of this movie, I mean like it's like really messed up. Like probably one of the most messed up movies I've ever seen. I gotta say, maybe not the most messed up movie I've seen, but like it's super good because it's like it's really impactful as far as like what it's getting at, as far as what happened here and how sad it was, and you can really like feel for what's going on here, which I really like. So I do enjoy it in that way. But I mean, like the mother like being that like mean and cruel, the mother being like that mean and cruel does seem like a little hard to fathom, but it is based on a true story, and it's like supposedly one of the most like cruel crimes like ever committed. So I guess I do have to believe it because it is based on a true story. But when you watch it, you're like, oh my god, like, how is this possible that someone could be this bad? But it is. That's the way it is in the movie. And like, as far as like how this affects my rating, it's messed up to a point where it doesn't really impact the rating that much, but I still really, really, really liked it throughout, with like the story of like this kid David and what he went through. But it is a little messed up to the point where I'm like, okay, we gotta like pump the brakes here. Like, I'm a little bit like wigged at this, to the point where I'm like, I can't really give this movie a like 10 out of 10 or like a 9.8. I have to give it a 9.1 out of 10, just because it's so like heavy, but it is an amazing film and I do recommend it. So yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to see more content and leave a like if you have enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I do just want to make a note. If you do decide to watch this movie, definitely watch it with subtitles, because a lot of the dialogue, especially with Meg, is really hard to hear. So I was glad that I had subtitles for it. So would definitely recommend using subtitles.